Hey y'all, and welcome back to my channel. This is Vienna with Creatively V. I'm so sorry I've been MIA, but I created this tumbler for a TikTok video and it currently has about 96.8 thousand views. So I definitely had to do a full tutorial here on this channel. So let's get into it. So first things first, you're gonna need a 24-ounce tumbler. I'm using the Starbucks brand one. I always get asked where I buy them from. I buy them from Starbucks. Yes, I pay full price. So you can use a Starbucks tumbler or you can use a dupe, whichever one you prefer. And we are gonna need a hole in the tumbler to get the rhinestones in. I prefer a 5/16 drill bit. You can use a little bit of a bigger size if you prefer, but I think 5/16 is a good standard size. And since this is not a snow globe, there's no liquid inside, we're only gonna need one hole. So you're gonna go ahead and drill that and remove any of the excess flakes that might have fallen in. You don't want those hanging around while you're adding your rhinestones. Once you've gotten that done, you can create a paper funnel like I'm doing here. I literally just tore a piece of cardstock in half, and then I'm going to grab some painter's tape, wrap it around my tumbler. That way I have a funnel to keep the rhinestones inside while I'm trying to get them all in the tumbler. But you can opt out, you don't have to do this, but it definitely makes the process a lot easier. And it's super easy, and you can reuse these for glitter or other projects. And most of these rhinestones I'm using are from It's Pretty Personal. You can use my code Vienna10 with them to save. For almost all of these colors, they are a 3mm rhinestone size. These are transparent flatback rhinestones. I am always asked what type of rhinestones you need to do the rhinestone filled tumblers. As long as they're transparent, you should be good, but make sure they are flatback as well. It makes the process easier. And I didn't have all the same size. So the first half of the tumbler is going to be the 3mm, which is that pink one. It's smaller. And then the blue and purple are 4mm. I prefer 3mm. I think they fill up the tumbler a lot better. But again, you can use 4 if you have 4. Also, when you are applying your rhinestones or putting your rhinestones inside, remember that the color you put in first is going to be the one at the top because the tumbler is upside down. So for me, I'm starting with the pink. We are going in rainbow order. So I poured a generous amount of rhinestones. I do not measure. I kind of just eyeball the amount of rhinestones that I think should be enough, and I can always go back and remove some as needed. Only on this first color. Once you start adding all your other colors, you cannot remove them. So you just be careful and make sure you start with a little bit and then add more if needed, because you cannot pour them out once you're already started, because then they'll get all mixed up. Anyways, so I did want to leave this first portion of the video in real time so you can see how fast this process can be. I am using a massage gun to help get those rhinestones in a lot faster. And before moving on to your next color, you do want to make sure that the rhinestones are flat and all of them are down. You can see when I removed the cone there that a lot of the rhinestones are still kind of piled up in the top of the walls there. So again, just make sure that you get those all down as much as possible. This is how it should look. I did have a couple of rhinestones still there. It's not the end of the world. It's okay. These tend to end up looking a little bit more like an ombre, which I really like. So anyways, once you've gotten that nice and flat, you've gotten all your colors in, you can go ahead and start moving forward and adding all your colors and repeat that same process. Add your rhinestones, get them all in, lay them flat, and then go on to your next color. Again, I did go in rainbow order. I had one of my commenters on my TikTok video comment at the fact that I did not use violet or indigo, so y'all will see a bonus color here at the end. The original color I used was just blue and then that light like lavender color, and then that was it. For this one, I ended up running out of the lavender color, so I did finish it off with a darker purple, so I guess that could be my indigo. But the nice thing about these is that it's your tumbler, it's your design, it's however you want it to look. I personally liked it without the darker purple, but it still came out really cute. But again, I ran out while making this, so I needed to finish filling my tumbler. These tumblers do need to be completely full. That was another question I got, was do the rhinestones move around and mix up after a while? No, they don't, as long as you fill the tumbler completely with your rhinestone. So here's that darker purple here. And once you get towards the end, it is going to get a little bit harder to put these in, especially if you are using a 4mm rhinestone like I did at the end here. And a little tip there that I found was to move your rhinestones towards the opposite side of where your hole is at. That way you can kind of scoot in the rest of your rhinestones so that you can get it as full as possible. And for me, I like using my weeding tool. It makes the process a little bit easier. So again, I'm just kind of scooting them all the way to the opposite side and then using my weeding tool to kind of scoot them in as much as possible. And once you get pretty full, you do want to leave just a tiny space, because I personally use a plug when I'm gonna plug these up. But if you're not using a plug and you're gonna use like tape or something, which I have done in other videos, that's fine too. Just make sure it's nice and full. But I'm gonna use a plug. I'm going to use this plug mold from Resin Rockers along with their soft coat UV resin to create that plug. I have done this in previous videos and on my TikTok page, so y'all can check that out. They are going to be linked below as well. I will try to link all the supplies directly and not just the website. So I do hope that helps. I get comments saying that they can't find the items that I'm showing, which they are on the website. You just kind of have to look around a little bit. Anyways, I am using the Magic Cure lamp that's also from Resin Rockers. It is by far the best lamp I've ever had. And that is not sponsored. I genuinely mean that. It is such a good investment. Anyways, once I have the plug fully cured, it is going to feel a little soft because it is a soft coat resin. It's not meant to be rock hard. I'm going to take my plug that I just created and put that into the hole. Also, if you noticed on the plug mold, there are two sizes. I used the smaller one because I used a 5/16 drill bit. There is a bigger plug if you used a bigger drill bit size. I'll be honest, I'm not sure what that size is, but I'd have to look into it. Anyways, so I put my plug directly in that hole just to make sure that it fits nice and snug. Here, I can show you how that looks. And then I'm going to go ahead and just glitter the bottom. I'm going to use the classic UV resin to seal that up. This is a hard type UV resin, so it is going to get hard the way you need it to be to seal these tumblers. And as a pro tip, I do like to add a little bit of UV resin around the hole just to make sure that that plug gets nice and secured in place. And I'm going to pour a generous amount of this UV resin, and I'm going to mix a matching glitter to that just to make sure that it is nice and complete. I think it adds a nice little finish to your tumbler. It's pretty much optional. You do not have to add glitter to the bottom if you don't want to. You can just cure it over and have a clear bottom if you'd like. But I did like to match it to that last color that I used, which is that darker purple. So anyways, gonna mix up my glitter here with that UV resin thoroughly and make sure it's nice and smooth. I will apply some heat to pop any air bubbles. I get asked that a lot too, why I'm using a lighter. It's to help pop those air bubbles, and it also helps settle that glitter down by applying that heat. It loosens up the resin and everything. So this is nice and smooth. It is fully cured, and this next part is optional as well. You can go ahead and add a care instruction label if you'd like. These are ones that I had custom made from Critter Cup Customs. I can link her shop below. She is on Etsy. If you do not have care instructions or do not want to add them, that's totally fine. You can just go ahead and cure another layer of UV resin over your glitter just so that it gets a nice glass-like finish. You want it to be nice and clear, and just repeat the same process you did before. And that's pretty much it. This is a very simple tumbler to make as long as you have all the rhinestone colors. I love how this came out. I did add a little bit too much yellow. I realized that after the fact, but hey, it's okay. I think it still looks great. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. And if y'all have any questions, make sure y'all drop them below as well. If you haven't done so, make sure you subscribe and also join our Facebook community, Snow Globe Tumblers and more, where we now have over 10,000 members. Thank you guys so much for your support and for watching, and I will talk to y'all soon.